Assalamu alaikum. Good afternoon, and for some of you, you are in the good evening time zone. Thank you so much for joining us at this year's Max Scholarship Reception. We're really excited to host you, and we hope that you enjoy what we have planned for the evening. For housekeeping, we ask that you keep your microphones muted unless you are speaking. Turn on your cameras so that we can have an engaging and in-person feel like to this virtual reception. And at some point during the evening, we're going to take a group photo. And if you have any questions at any point in time, you're welcome to paste them in the chat. Or if it's really urgent, you can raise your hand. For those of you who are going to have Maghrib at 7:20-ish, you're welcome to step away from your computer to pray Maghrib, but we will be trying to end the evening at 8 p.m. so that everyone has the opportunity to pray before Isha. As you can tell, we have a packed agenda for you with our keynote speaker, starting with keynote speaker, Dr. Hind Al-Abadleh from the University of Wilfrid Laurier and a previous scholarship sponsor. We also have our sponsor speaker, Shiraz Ahmed, who has been a dedicated sponsor since day one of the program. We also have some of our winners composition videos, and we'll share a little bit about our partnership with BridgeTO and the impact you have as mentors. We're going to pause to recognize the high school winners for 2023. After we've had our chance to celebrate these winners, we'll pass the spotlight and recognize our post-secondary scholarship winners. And along the way, you'll be able to hear from select students and get a little bit of an opportunity to learn about their inspiring journey. At the end of the evening, some of you will have the opportunity to meet with your sponsors. I have to say, not all the sponsors were able to make it today, but for those of you who are present, we really appreciate it, and you'll have an opportunity to network with your scholarship winners. If you haven't already met with yours scholarship sponsor and you don't have the opportunity today to network with them, we ask that you do set up a virtual meeting or even an in-person meeting. In the connection email that we provided, really the relationship you build with your mentor can be extremely beneficial and one of mentorship and guidance. So it's really important that you try to build that relationship and try to foster that relationship. So please sit back and relax and reflect. And as you go through the evening, reflect on what our speakers have to say and how this applies to you and what you currently do and hope to do in the future. For some initial introductions, I'd like to introduce the core team behind the Max Scholarship Fund program. These individuals have been instrumental in running the scholarship program and without whom this would not exist. For starters, my name is Nahida Sahtout, and together with Sayed, we manage the operations of MSF. So anytime you get emails, they are likely from either Sayed or myself. We also have other individuals in the team. We have Maisha and Nashia, both 2022 scholarship winners who were instrumental to organizing the 2023 Quran recitation competition. Nashia is also currently supporting the team by organizing our upcoming fireside chats, so stay tuned for those. And then finally, our newest addition is Faria, who's supporting us in outreach. We also have other individuals that haven't started fully with volunteering with us, but they are also part of the team and they will begin their volunteering in the fall. As part of the finance team, and these individuals are the reason why your tuition gets paid, Nasik, Shabaz, and Zarka, they're pros at what they do, and without them, you wouldn't get your tuitions paid off. And then lastly, for intros, I'd like to introduce our tech team and our marketing team. So this year's tech team, Abdullah, Talha, and Jamyu were instrumental in making the application portal even better. So a quick shout out to them. And of course, our marketing team. We have Sana, Ramsha, Alia, and Bashira, who we couldn't truly bring to life all the incredible wins without their marketing skills, designs, and creativity. And we really want to thank them for all our dealing with all of our last minute requests and making sure everything looks 1,000 times better. Before we officially begin the program, Sayed, sorry.
Sure. Before we officially begin, we would like to start the evening with a beautiful Quran recitation. It is my pleasure to introduce Abdurrahman Bura, who is also the 2023 Toronto Hifz Academy Scholarship for Hufaz winner. Abdurrahman Bura is originally from Ethiopia, where as a 13-year-old put hold on his academic classes and spent 2 years on Quran memorization. In Ethiopia, Abdurrahman led Taraweeh prayers, night prayers in Ramadan annually, and helped Muslim children in the community learn Quran recitation. In addition to his dedication to Quran hifz and literacy, he is also a science enthusiast and a strong academic student. As he studied high school as a refugee in Canada, Abdurrahman worked as a tutor helping high school students with math and science courses. Additionally, he has received the Top Academic Achiever Award from his high school in 2 consecutive years of grade 11 and grade 12 and has graduated as the valedictorian of his class. In the fall of 2023, Abdurrahman is headed to the University of Calgary to study neuroscience and plans to work as a clinician scientist. Abdurrahman is in class at the moment, but he has kindly shared with us a beautiful recording of his recitation.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم ولقد أنزلنا إليكم آيات مبينات ومثلا من الذين خلوا من قبلكم وموعظة للمتقين الله نور السماوات والأرض مثل نوره كمشكاة فيها مصباح المصباح في زجاجة الزجاجة كأنها كوكب دري يوقد من شجرة مباركة زيتونة لا شرقية ولا غربية يكاد زيتها يضيء ولو لم تمسسه نور على نور يهدي الله لنوره من يشاء ويضرب الله الأمثال للناس والله بكل شيء عليم في بيوت أذن الله أن ترفع ويذكر فيها اسمه يسبح له فيها بالغدو والآصال رجال لا تلهيهم تجارة ولا بيع عن ذكر الله وإقام الصلاة وإيتاء الزكاة يخافون يوما تتقلب فيه القلوب والأبصار ليجزيهم الله أحسن ما عملوا ويزيدهم من فضله والله يرزق من يشاء بغير حساب.
All right, we want to thank Abdurrahman for that wonderful recitation, and we're sorry he couldn't be here in person. For now, we're pleased to introduce to you our keynote speaker for the evening. As many of you embark on your academic journey, you may relate to a lot of the things that Dr. Al-Abadleh talks about. Reflect on this, how this applies to you and what this means for your journey through academia. So Professor Hind Al-Abadleh is a faculty member in the Department of Chemistry and Biochemistry at Wilfrid Laurier University in Waterloo, Ontario. She completed her PhD degree at the University of Iowa, followed by a postdoctoral training at Northwestern University in the US, before starting her academic career here in Canada. She is the fellow of the Balseal School of International Affairs in Waterloo, chair of the Atmosphere-Related Research in Canadian Universities, a special interest group with the Canadian Meteorological and Oceanographic Society, and past chair of the Environmental Division of the Chemical Institute of Canada. Her award-winning research programs are in atmospheric chemistry, air quality, geochemistry, and environmental remediation. Through her research, teaching, and outreach activities, Professor Al-Abadleh aims to highlight chemistry's role in explaining how natural systems work, impacts of human activities on these systems, and humanity's transition to a more sustainable future in harmony with nature. Professor Al-Abadleh received the Max Platinum Award of Excellence in 2016 in the professional category, and she co-sponsored a Max scholarship called Jabr Ibn Hayyan Scholarship for Women in Graduate Chemistry Programs for 2 years in 2017 and 2018. I was actually the fortunate recipient of the 2017 scholarship that she co-sponsored, and I've been super fortunate to meet Dr. Al-Abadleh on many occasions and call her a role model and friend. Dr. Al-Abadleh, the stage is yours.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Thanks, Dr. Sahtout, for the kind introduction and for the invitation to join you today in celebration of the 2023 Max Scholarship recipients. It's truly an honor to deliver this keynote address and congratulate an exceptional group of students from the Muslim community. I live and work in Kitchener-Waterloo, here in Ontario, which is situated on the traditional territory of the neutral Anishinaabe and Haudenosaunee peoples. I'm privileged to be living, working, and studying on this Indigenous land. Having that privilege motivates me to do the work I do on a daily basis, to be an agent for positive change in my personal and professional communities. The title of my short speech, Rising to the Opportunity of Building a Just, Sustainable, and Resilient Human Civilization, is inspired by my personal and professional journey. So I'll tell you a bit of both and end with what I think a responsible and active citizenship as the practical translation of our role as guides, vicegerents on earth, khulafa Allah fil ard. As a high school student, I excelled academically in science and humanities. My interest in environmental issues started then when we were taught about pollution in general and impacts of climate change in particular. So I continued in science at the university level, empowered and motivated. I met professors who recognized my potential as a successful scientist from as early as the second year in the undergraduate chemistry program. These professors went out of their way to mentor and support me to follow my dreams of higher education. Traveling to the United States and then Canada came with a lot of challenges, as I had a very good life in the UAE and was surrounded by my loving family and friends. But I could not fulfill my dreams of higher education there. So leaving my comfort zone was like breaking out of a shell, and I'm glad I did, as it opened up a whole new world of opportunities to learn and grow professionally and personally. So take home message number 1, know yourself, strengths and weaknesses, and do not be afraid to leave your comfort zone. Have a dream that excites you, utilizes your strengths, and forces you to improve your weaknesses. Work hard on your dreams to become reality. The path might not be easy, because worthy and precious things in life come with heavy investments and lots of sacrifice. Take home message number 2, make lemonade when life throws lemons at you. Surround yourself with wise elders, supportive friends, and visionary mentors, and make the most of the opportunities that present themselves to you. Remember that most of the time, hardships are blessings in disguise. My academic career started at Laurier. As a chemistry professor, I teach courses related to environmental and physical chemistry. The research part keeps my mind active and creative. It allows me to share knowledge with students, and we create new knowledge together. It allows me to meet other scientists, visit their labs, and share with them the excitement of discovery. Education about environmental issues and what each one of us can do to lower our carbon emissions and footprint is the first step in creating scientifically literate citizens equipped with the evidence needed to address this existential threat to our civilization. So the skills that are most important for a successful career in science are time management. Everything in life comes and goes, but time, every minute passes, is one we never get back again. Persistence. A career in science and research means that one has to be persistent in the face of failure and never gives up. Succeeding in everything without struggle and failure means we're not learning new things. Failure can create new horizons for improving our methodologies and creativity. Over time, one develops the ability to recognize when to best stop and change course when all possibilities have been exhausted to solve a certain problem or situation. Determination and tenacity. The desire to succeed should be coupled with the determination to demand of oneself the best it can give. Financial management. To do research, I manage the grants that I receive from the university, the government, and the private sector. I have to plan according to the budget and hire the right people for the right tasks. Professionalism. There is severe competition in research that is sometimes ugly. I value fair play and healthy competitions. I do my best to be ethical and professional in my dealings and interactions with senior scientists, colleagues, and students. In the end, what wins the day are novel ideas, solid science, and the ability to deliver on research tasks and milestones. Lastly, self-care. We are made of three intertwined parts: body, mind, and soul. I cannot emphasize enough how important it is to be proactive in self-care and apply the airline safety rule: put on the oxygen mask on you first and then help others. We need to feed our bodies with an active lifestyle that combines wholesome and halal foods and products, as well as exercise and habits for optimum physical health. We need to feed our minds with beneficial knowledge for this life and the hereafter. And we need to feed our soul with spiritual practices and guidance that implants hope, compassion, positivity, resilience, and empathy for optimum mental health. So take-home message number 3, a career in science is amazing and unique and never gets boring. Your professional value comes from knowing what skills do you have to offer humanity. So you have to know clearly what skills you have to offer. Learn about fixed versus growth mindsets and choose to have a growth mindset and to take care of yourself daily. I'd like to focus the last part of my speech on what I think of responsible and active citizenship. Canada is a land of abundant opportunities and vast room for improvement. The degree of a society's level of civilization is measured by a number of indicators: treatment of public spaces, ability to uphold the ideals of human rights, and the treatment of the most vulnerable and marginalized members of society, dominant behaviors in times of conflict and war, level of consumer versus producer mindsets, capacity to be resilient and self-sufficient in the energy, food, and water sectors, ability to live up to the highest levels of ethical standards in the pursuit of and applications of scientific knowledge. So, what score would you give Canada in each of these indicators? This is an open question I want you to reflect on. My final message is, make sure that wherever you end up in this world, that you work consciously and with determination to eradicate ignorance, eliminate poverty and discrimination, and use your right to free speech to call for the humanity, dignity, equal opportunity, and justice for all people, no double standards. You would do so by using science, art, media, journalism, and even religion, for they are powerful tools in shaping societal value systems. What excites me the most personally for high-achieving Muslim graduates like yourselves is that, equipped with the science we know at this point in history, coupled with the ethical teachings of Islam, you stand out as the educated citizens and political leaders this country needs the most. My generation and your generation have unique opportunities to build a new future for humanity that is just, resilient, and more harmony in nature with nature. Community engagement and knowledge mobilization need to happen at the same time. We are all in this together. Always remember that Canada is waiting for you to emerge as leaders and true influencers and make it a better place for everyone. Congratulations to all of you again, and my very best wishes for continued success. جزاكم الله خيرا وبارك الله فيكم. والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Thank you, Hind, for that wonderful talk, and also for that very exhaustive list of points that you shared, and I think a lot of them relate to every single one of us, and especially the last point. I really want to make sure everyone reflects on that last point as they heard you. So we do have time for questions for Dr. Al-Abadleh. So if you have a question for her, please feel free to raise your hand or type it in the chat. And maybe I'll start off by asking you to share one of your most challenging experiences as you went through your academic journey, especially in becoming a professor. They're very hard to find positions, and so if you would be able to share something like that.
Yes, I mean, when I started applying for academic positions, I was still in the United States. So the circumstances were that I had friends in Canada who immigrated before me, and they were, they gave me a very realistic advice. They said, don't come to Canada if you don't have a job. They said it right up front. And I think I appreciated their advice because, in the US, after a postdoc, we don't get an academic position right away, which often happens. You go for another postdoc. Most of my lab mates ended up doing, 2 and 3 postdocs before they landed their first academic position. But timing, I guess, was right. When I was applying to come to Canada for an academic position, being very specialized in physical chemistry, which is one of the hardest subjects in chemistry that doesn't attract a lot of people. There were positions open at the time at the assistant professor level with tenure track. So when I applied, I interviewed, and I accepted the offer that came. And I didn't, and then the rest is history, as they say. I think that one of the largest challenges I faced as an academic coming to Canada was the fact that the chemistry community was a tight-knit community. There's about, 3,000 or 3,500 chemists in the whole country, and everyone knew each other, and they recruited each other's students, and they hired each other's students. So break into that circle was the hardest. Took years of hard and persistent work to get my name recognized, to get my face out there in conferences, to get my papers published and recognized. I mean, when my PhD advisor and postdoc advisor was known to maybe 5 people in Canada, and I told the 5 that I am in Canada now as a faculty member, which is hilarious. But when you apply for grants, like, what are the chances that these 5 will be on the on the panel and will be the internal voice to advocate for you for funding? Of course, it's almost zero. So it took a lot of work, on top of the regular work that one has to do to actually just break into that professional network of chemists within Canada. But once that was done and a reputation was established, and science is international by nature anyways, I think things just started to get easier.
I wanted to actually ask you another question before we end, and I know you have to go to class. As someone who did a PhD in chemistry, I do notice that women in the field are very far and few. And I know that there's a lot of our candidates here who are female pursuing engineering, even, males in a less Muslims in specific fields are also less recognized. How do we push through that barrier and really show our resilience and make sure that we are successful in what we do, and show others that we do deserve to be where we are, regardless of whatever gender or the religion we have?
Right. I mean, this is the challenge of this generation, honestly, and I hope it will end with our generation, and things will be much better in the future. I think the climate now for recognizing diversity within the academic system is much better than 18 years ago when I started myself. When I started, there was talk about women and importance of having women at the faculty level and in front of students in classrooms and all of that. But you have to understand, and academic institutions have a very, very low turnover, low turnover. The tenure system creates careers for people where they spend 30, 40 years sometimes. And there are talks now actually about changing the whole tenure system. But that's aside, what would you do? I mean, your passion for science is going to shine no matter what. There are multiple avenues where you can put your talent for science in action. We need scientists not only in academic institutions teaching students or doing research, but we need them in the government. We need them in industry. We need them in different non-traditional organizations, because when a scientist, for example, chooses to do law or to do business, the scientific skills are transferable to these fields and can really make you stand out. So absolutely, I mean, you don't worry about the job market down the road. I think what matters if you are entering university this year or have been in the university for first year, is that you try to learn as much as possible in terms of skills, in terms of interactions with professors, in terms of getting accomplishments beyond courses, because you want to build a CV, a professional CV that can only be done when you have professors writing you letters, for example, or when you get to work in a professor lab and as an assistant, as a research assistant, and you get to have your name on a paper or on a conference paper, and you get to travel. So I think it's and your own career is so inspiring, Nahida. I mean, if you, for the audience here, if you just look up, mashallah, Nakwad, the LinkedIn profile for Nahida, you will see that she was, she thought of her skills as a way of benefiting society, and she ended up being involved with student leaders, and at the same time, being a productive scientist as well. So it's the versatility of a career in education and science will really give you opportunities down the road for sure.
Okay, great. So I'm recognizing the time and recognizing you have to lecture in a short while. I really want to thank you again for your making yourself available to give advice to our scholarship winners, and we will reach out to you again and ask you for that list. I think that was an extremely valuable list, and I want to emphasize some of your last words again about how don't go into, and I'm rephrasing here, but don't go into your university just to take the courses. Try to learn as much as you can, and this is outside your courses learning, not just your courses. So thank you so much, Dr. Al-Abadleh, for your time, and inshallah we'll have you again at one of our other events. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. Enjoy the festivities, and congratulations again, everyone. Take care. Bye.
And Syed, if you want to go ahead.
Sounds good. Thank you, Nahida, and thank you, Dr. Hind. Before we begin recognizing our scholarship winners, we wanted to provide a brief overview of MAX and MSF. To talk about MAX, we would like to introduce Azhar, the driving force behind everything that MAX does. Azhar Zafar is an FCA, and is currently Director of Investment Risk at OP Trust, one of Canada's largest pension funds. In his spare time, not sure when he sleeps, he is founder and head cheerleader of one of Canada's fastest growing minority-based not-for-profit organization, the Muslim Award for Excellence, otherwise MAX, which has over 750 active volunteers across Canada. In addition, he was recruited by the chair of the Princess Margaret Cancer Foundation Investment Committee to help manage its $500 million endowment and serve as a member of the investment committee. Azhar, thanks for all that you do. Please take this virtual mic and share a few words.
All right, assalamu alaikum everyone. So I've been asked, can you hear me, I guess, first off?
Yes, we can.
Okay, awesome. So I've been asked to present a few slides on Max and MSF. And those that know me and my speaking style know that I try to make it more interactive. So I'm going to pick on people, especially those who still have their camera off. So don't be surprised if I pick on you as I ask you some questions. Before I do that, so one of our sponsors, when I said put your cameras on, was like, do I have to? I have my baby here. I was like, you know what? People love seeing babies. We used to have one of our head volunteers who always used to bring their baby to our Max meeting. So Imran Khan, one of our sponsors, let's, can we say hi to your baby, or is she still here? She's still sleeping?
Oh, she's sleeping right now.
All right, we don't get to see her. It's all good. But mashallah, thank you for coming, and thank you to all the sponsors. And you're going to hear from one after the Shiraz Ahmed as well. Really, the sponsors are, alhamdulillah, what's made all this possible. And we've gone from 7 in the first year. And the person you're going to hear later, Shiraz Ahmed, was one of the original ones. And we've gone from 7 scholarships to 80 plus. So alhamdulillah, it's enabled that. And then behind all that are all the volunteers. So the slide that you see right now is basically, I come from an investment banking private equity background. So I was like, we stand for excellence. So I'm going to run this like an investment bank. So you have your managing directors, VPs, directors, and basically all volunteers who we all have our day jobs, whether, Abdullah is a VP of risk technology at OMERS, or we have, even Nahida has her day job with the federal government, and we have various other folks who all are fairly mid to senior level professionals, but who out of the kindness of their heart and belief in what Max stands for and trying to really build up our Ummah community, similar to how some other communities help each other. These are call it the 40 to 50 leads. Many of them manage teams under them. On the right side is the pillars. So whether it's scholarships, awards, gala, mentorship, business, training for boards, entrepreneurship, women leadership, Aspire, podcast, those are the folks really driving it. And you'll see a lot of them work at, whether it's the PwCs, whether it's government, whether it's McCarthy Tetra law firm, whether it's the Deloitte, KPMGs, et cetera, of the world, or the CGIs of the world. They're all professionals in their right who really want to give back to the community. And then on the left, you'll see a lot of the operations folks. Sana heads up marketing. She's here today. You'll see sponsorships. You'll see HR. Really, recruitment of our volunteers is very important, and sort of screening them out. Then you'll see technology as well there, and sponsorships. So this is sort of, call it the brains behind what enables Max. And inshallah, one day some of you might be part of this. And I'd encourage some of you, even if it's not for us, even if it's for another organization, is to always think about how you want to give back, right? Most of you are going to be very successful professionally, whether it's academically, whether it's becoming, doctor, scientist, journalist, business person, but kind of never forget where, that humbleness, if you can, and try to always give back to some organization. It doesn't have to be to Max, and our job is to elevate all organizations, but just always think of where your passion lies and what you want to give to. So if we move to the next slide, really our purpose is to inspire leadership and empower change in our communities. And our mission, how we enable our purpose, is to recognize and accelerate productive contributions made by Muslims in North America through academic and professional development. And really the impetus of this was, call it post 9/11, when a lot of discrimination was there against Muslims. And we kind of said, hey, how do we, fine, you have a few bad apples, but 99% plus of our communities are really good work. And let's try to showcase that. And let's try to encourage high levels of excellence. If you think about Islam, 700 to 1400, we were the leaders of science, technology, physics, astronomy, philosophy, all these things, right? And how do we kind of reclaim some of that and strive for that excellence? Because we were the leaders of society for so long. The Europeans and the others came to us and translated our text into their languages and learned from us. And really it's about, let's be proud of our history. Let's also strive and contribute to humanity in a positive way, and really claim that excellence and be part of that. So that's really what led to it. And before we go to the next slide, I'm going to ask a question. So can anyone guess what the 3 pillars of Max are? So I'll give you a hint. One of them is scholarships. There's 2 others, and this is a hard question. The next question is going to be easier, but anyone want to, and you can just shout it out if you want, or I pick on people whose camera is not on. So just, anyone want to guess what our other pillars are? So scholarships is 1. This is a hard question, so don't be surprised. Don't no one want to guess? Anyone just want to blurt it out?
Is one of them mentorship?
So entrepreneurship is one, someone guessed, mentorship another. So both of those are programs within one of the pillars. So you're on the right track, both of you. So yeah, I'll give it away and then I'll get you guys to answer the next question easier. So if we move to the next slide, it shows you our three pillars, which scholarship on one end, professional excellence on another, and then recognition. And really within professional excellence are a bunch of programs, and within recognition are a bunch of programs. Within scholarships is primarily scholarships, and that's really what most of you are here for. Now, if you think about professional excellence and recognition, this is an easier question. You guys have already answered some of it. What programs do you think fall within professional excellence that we have at Max? And be curious to see if anyone's done a bit of research on this. But again, shout it out.
Is it like the board training?
Yeah.
Stuff?
Yeah, definitely. The board training is definitely under professional excellence. Anyone else?
The Bridge to Youth?
So that's actually under scholarship, but you're kind of half right because it all falls under mentorship. So you're kind of half right, yeah. More people.
I know
Yeah, go ahead.
Max Mentors and
Yeah.
Women in Leadership.
Exactly. Yeah, both are under professional excellence. We have other programs as well, but no, you guys have covered half of them, I think, but feel free to shout out more answers. I think
You
one of
also
them-
have the business lab.
Yep. So that's kind of now become entrepreneurship. It's become that part of within businesses, training for boards, leadership, Max Investment Referral Network. So that's right. I think you guys and girls are only missing 2 or 3. Anyone want to guess what those are? Mern is right. Malika, that's one of them. If I offered higher scholarships for anyone to get it right, more people, I'm just joking. Fireside talks, yeah. These are a shy bunch here. Okay, so let's move. So that's good. You guys got most of them. So let's move to the next slide. It'll kind of show you. Sorry, I'm going between screens here. So there you go. So if you think about our 3 areas, and we'll go through a user journey on this after, just so you get familiar with this. Within scholarships, the Max Scholarship Fund, Quran Recitation Competition, Bridge TO is in that as well. Professional excellence, we've expanded. It now includes Max Entrepreneurship under business, as well as training for boards, leadership, and Mern. Mern is kind of, anyone here watch Shark Tank or Dragon's Den? See a bunch of nodding heads. So yeah, Mern is like our Max Shark Tank. So we get every quarter 2 to 3 folks who are startups that can either be graduates, or even if they're really smart in university, then, you know, like Mark Zuckerberg started Facebook in university, or Michael Dell started Dell, and Gates started Microsoft after dropping out of first year at Harvard. Like we have some people there, we have folks who are professionals presenting new startup ideas. So that Mern is, you know, alhamdulillah, we've grown as a community to now have a lot of people who've done well as entrepreneurs, who are in the pension funds, venture capital funds. So we have that support network to really help our community if they have great ideas and are able to execute. It's a hard work, but we have that support now. And that's where people can pitch. And then, yeah, Women in Leadership Mentors, Aspire, Max Cast. And the recognition is Gala, which is coming up September 30th. We do it every 3 to 4 years. The next one will be 2026, our 10-year anniversary. The last one was 2019. We only do it every 3 to 4 years because we have very impactful 20+ programs every year that are much more accessible and much more impactful. The Gala is just a celebration, kind of like our Olympics. And it's that one event that is very high cost and is done at a different level, but it kind of celebrates everything we've done for 3-4 years. And that's how we've evolved as an organization. Okay, so that's great. And now the user journey. So if you think about these 3 pillars, the next slide talks about our user journey. So no matter kind of where you are in life, you know, if you're a student, an early career professional, you kind of have a place at Max. We should probably fix those ones. They're hard to see, that students and early career professionals, mid and late career professionals. But so no matter where you are in life, you kind of have a home at Max. So for most of you, it'll be students and early career professionals. We hope, and you know, as you continue in your journey, as you become a mid and late career professional, you become a part of the professional pillar that I was talking about, whether it's a volunteer, whether it's part of women leadership, business, the Gala, Max Shark Tank, Aspire. And then the last part of the user journey is senior executive. So it's recognition, it's the Gala, some are investors with Mern, some, you know, are trainers in our board training. Many of them are judges for scholarships or senior executives on Aspire, which is like our 10,000 coffees. So that's kind of the journey of Max. And 2 more slides I'll go through. Before we go to the next slide, yeah, so don't go to the next slide yet. I want you to guess, since inception, can anyone guess how dollar value of scholarships we've handed out, including this year, and number of scholarships? Let's see who gets the closest. You can either blurt it out or put it in the chat group. So Shiraz said $1 million. I thought said
1.4 million.
Ooh, who said that?
I said that, but full disclosure, I did read the newsletter.
Okay, you're bang on. Good job. Sorry, who was that?
Yeah, that was me, Rahameen.
Okay, that's awesome. Good job. Aren't you in Pakistan right now on a trip, or are you back in Stanford?
I was, yes, I am. Yeah,
You're in Pakistan or you're at Stanford now?
I'm in Pakistan right now.
Okay, that's a great guess from Pakistan. Very good guess. Now, what about number of scholarships? Anyone want to guess? So first year was 7, which is 2016. This year was 80. And if you do a linear thing, you can almost, any mathematicians want to calculate how many we've given. No, not 1,000, but nice try and run. 500, a little less, 400, a little less, 270, between 270 and 400. You guys are getting close. Oh, okay, now we're getting right on. Who hit 350? Baithat. 351. Good job, Baithat. Baithat, are you in Western right now, in med school? And are you one of those not in camera?
Yeah, I'm at London right now.
Nice. Well, congratulations on winning a scholarship and picking the right answer here. So now if we go to the next slide, you'll see our impact. It's been a blessing to have the volunteer sponsors and everyone. So 1.4 million of scholarships, 351 scholarships to date, 500 mentor-mentee pairs, 700 aspiring professionals and senior execs on our coffee chats thing, 1.2 million raised on Max Shark Tank, sold out galas. This one's about to get sold out as well. So alhamdulillah, this speaks to the strength of our community, and you should all be content and know that the confidence of a community behind you, that inshallah, remain humble, remain strong, and whatever it is you end up being, you're all going to do well, inshallah. Give back to whatever organization, people you want. One of the things I'll say too is take advantage of the Max network as you get involved, whether it's volunteers or whether on our LinkedIn, etc. Like, we have, alhamdulillah, built a strong network of people who can almost help anyone in any field. And it's, just be very confident and know that you have that backing of a strong community. And whether it's go to Nahida, go to Syed, go to people who've been part of Max for a while, like Baithat's help with Bridge TO and Max. But just know that there is a nice network forming. On our LinkedIn, we have 20 plus thou, MailChimp has 19 thou. Facebook, Instagram, we only have 3,500 or so, but it's just the quality of the people involved who help behind the scenes. So just know that's there and use that to aspire to achieve very high level. And if, I'd say those who long-term are thinking of not only being a great doctor or a great scientist or a great journalism or a great finance person or a great lawyer, is if you want to start your own business, you want to do what a lot of the other communities have done to really showcase the world and help build and also gain wealth for their community and really contribute to humanity, is, again, there is that Max network backing, inshallah, that will hopefully be able to help you. So with that, and the last slide, I just want to thank our sponsors. So these are not the scholarship sponsors, you're going to hear from one, but scholarship sponsors you've seen over time on our Max scholarship website. These are the Max sponsors. So these are the corporate sponsors we have behind us as well. So Islamic Relief, TD, Sajjad Ibrahim Foundation, Moise Qasim, KPMG, TMU, Dr. Lashmi really loves what we do. We have non-Muslims like Richard Rooney, who heads up Burgundy Asset, who likes supporting us. The RBC, Faskins, Cadillac Fairviews, a lot of non-Muslims there as well. Dr. Ike Ahmed and Ruby Alvi, who are online as well on this reception. They've been there since day one, like Shiraz, been there since day one and always support us. So we really appreciate that. And, it's really nice to have their support. Dr. Ike's known worldwide as a world-renowned eye surgeon. SRJ Chartered Accountants have been there since day one. Mohammed Al-Zaibak, who sold Terranet. There's a large real estate company. He sold it to one of the pension funds. And then others like Valley Asset Management has 3 scholarships, as well as a corporate sponsorship: Sargent Farms, Green Shield, M&P Accounting, TCF, Syed Law, Torrey's Law, Mishkat Davies, Extendicare, and Dr. Adnan Qazi Hamid, who is a cardiologist. So, Jazakallah to the scholarship sponsors who are here, as well as the corporate sponsors. And I think with that, I can pass it back to you, Syed.
Thanks. Yeah, thanks, Azhar. That was great. We're going to share a few highlights about Max Scholarship Fund, so MSF, some statistics, and a bit about what the success has looked like over the years. So for those of you that don't know, Max Scholarships has one mission, and that is to award well-rounded students who are eager to make an impact in their communities, learn, and create. Those who are awarded a Max Scholarship, such as yourself, are students who have contributed to their communities, achieved above average marks, and are recognized by their peers. These students are just overall incredible young students who will go on to do great things. No pressure, okay? Max has been awarding scholarships to youth since 2016, as Azhar mentioned, and with the help and support of all our sponsors, we have contributed over $1.4 million worth of scholarships to more than 351 students' tuition. Last year, we were lucky to award 74 students, and this year, we're lucky to award 80 students with scholarships worth $314,000. As we look into the gender breakdown of our scholars, we see that there's a 65%, 35% split, with females taking the majority representation. Although we recognize that all students, regardless of gender, are inspirational and impressive, we all know the struggles and underrepresentation of women, even more so Muslim women. So we're extremely proud to see that Max and MSF is helping break through the glass ceiling on this front.
Diversity and inclusion is extremely important for us here at Max, and it is great to see this come to life when we take a look at the different ethnic groups of our students. We have representation from all around the world and across many cities in Canada. I won't read this all out, but please take a few seconds to glance over this slide and feel free to give your city a shout out in the chat box.
All right, next we have a snapshot view of all the different scholarship categories we had this year. We have scholarship categories like business, journalism and media, computer science, communities, medicine, dentistry, newcomers and refugees, persons with disabilities, science and engineering, and women's empowerment, as well as the all-star categories. It's amazing to see all the unique applicants we receive from these categories, and it's truly all-encompassing. From business to science to arts and even life circumstances, our scholarships cover a wide range of students.
And last but certainly not least, as we provide an overview of MSF, we cannot forget about all the incredible sponsors who have donated not just their money, but also their time, energy, and effort. Please glance through this list of sponsors for this year. We have some that are returning 6 years in a row, others who are brand new, and others who have continued to spread the word and have their friends and family come forward and support Max scholarships. It is truly remarkable to see so many of the names here. We thank each and every one of you for your generosity and continued support, and for making all of this come true. So thank you. Speaking of sponsors, it takes a special someone to be able to pay it forward and support the youth of today. Now, we're very pleased to announce our sponsor speaker for the evening, Shiraz Ahmed. Shiraz is the founder, Senior Financial Advisor, Senior Portfolio Manager at the Sartorial Wealth of Raymond James Limited. He is passionate about helping individuals and businesses reach their personal and financial goals. As a cross-border financial expert, he helps individuals and families maintain or re-establish their economic well-being during times of transition. Shiraz has 20 years of experience in the financial service industry. In 2022, he won the Investment Industry Association of Canada's Top Under 40 Award and is a regular speaker on CBC, Breakfast Television, and has been featured in the Investment Executive, Globe and Mail, and numerous other publications. Shiraz holds a Chartered Investment Management CIM designation and is among an elite group of advisors fully licensed in Canada and the US. Shiraz, very excited to hand over the mic to you.
Assalamu alaikum, everybody. I'm not sure. Can you all hear me? I hope so.
Yes, we can.
Perfect. Well, Jazakallah. And I always get humbled whenever I hear my own bio coming into one of these speaking sessions. But, first of all, it's a huge shout out to Max, mashallah. I'm reminiscing from Azerbaijan from when we were first getting together on the first inaugural Max, and there was 7 of us that were donating. And at this point, mashallah, there's over 80 scholarships and $1.4 million. I think there was like 30 grand in first year. This is just remarkable how far we've come in such a short amount of time. So shout out, congrats, mashallah, to the Max team from where we were, where we are today. And inshallah, God knows where we'll end up in the future. So everyone keep up the great work. So assalamu alaikum and good evening to everybody, fellow donors, esteemed guests, and of course, let's not forget the scholarship recipients. It's really an honor to be here and to speak with you all, and especially in this virtual setting as well. I really was reflecting on what did I want to talk about today when the folks at Max asked me to speak, and I thought I'd kind of hone in on really kind of 4 main points. And I'll try my best to inshallah keep it brief. I don't want to sit here and blabber on for too long, especially with Maghrib around the corner. But I want to start off by talking a little bit about my journey, but really it's not so much about me, it's really about you all. And the importance of support systems, which is one of the major reasons why I decided to get involved with Max. So I was kind of reflecting on my journey, and like many of you, I encountered some challenges earlier on in my career and in my life and whatnot as well. I'd faced some obstacles, but it was really kind of the unwavering support of my family and friends and mentors that really kind of helped propel me forward. Some within the community, and at the time, unfortunately, there wasn't as many that were from our community in the field that I was in. So I was very fortunate to have some mentors that were from outside of the community. And it was really my late grandmother, Mamuna Wasi Ahmed, and she was really a beacon of strength and wisdom in my life and a lot of my family. She believed in the power of education and the transformative potential that it had. So her teachings and values have really kind of helped been sort of a guide and beacon for me. And it's in her memory that I decided to fund the scholarship, the Mamuna Wasi Ahmed Memorial Scholarship. So part of the reason why, and really kind of getting to my next point on why I sponsor Max and really the significance of the Max Scholarship Fund. So, back in 2015, when Max was really just an idea, I was speaking with Azerbaijan back then, and it was really more of, how can we fight the current environment that we were in at the time? So if you think about, sort of, this is post 9/11. There's some really negative rhetoric. President Trump was taking office at this time. It was really kind of a bad time to be openly Muslim. And of course, you can't fight fire with fire. You have to fight fire with water. So that's when, a lot of things kind of happen as a catalyst, and Max is born. And through that, we want to celebrate the positive contributions that Canadian Muslims have been able to bring to Canadian society as a whole. And it's something that really kind of hit a note with me. And it was around that time that actually my grandmother passed away as well. So I thought, what can I do to celebrate, this amazing life that she had and the positive contributions she made in my life? Well, the best thing I can do is to try to pay it forward to others as well. And Islamically speaking, one of the best things you can do is to kind of help either feed somebody or help educate somebody. So inshallah, hopefully I can help educate even just one person and what that can do in the butterfly effect from there. So a really significant desire for me was to really get involved with Max. So in the initial year, I was involved in sort of a more management level. And then since then, I've stepped back to be more of a donor. But mashallah, it's an organization that's done so much. And I can't stress enough how this didn't exist when I was a kid, or even getting into my early professional years. There was nothing like this that was there, either from a mentorship standpoint or even from a financial funding standpoint. We had to go through the traditional metrics, either apply for bursary at school, like I'm sure all of you have done. But it really was something that I wanted to try to see if I could give back. And it's something that really was important to me to try to see if we can help make things a little bit easier for the next generation, so they didn't have to go through necessarily some of the hardships that we've gone through. And one thing I can just say on a little bit of a side note, and I'm going to digress from my notes a little bit. Every year I get humbled by reading and judging some of you scholarship winners, because mashallah, like I've done this much compared to what you all have done in such a short amount of time. And inshallah, I'm so excited to see what you'll all be able to do going forward. So the next piece I want to do is kind of give a little bit of advice to some of you scholarship winners. And I have the curse of a baby face, but I'm older than I look. And I really just want to say a couple things that I think I wish somebody were to tell me if I were to go back in time. So the first thing I'd like to just suggest is for all of you to stay curious, right? Like being a student is a lifelong journey. Like the world is super vast. There's always going to be something new to learn. You're never done. So embrace the opportunity to expand your horizons. Remember that curiosity is a spark that ignites the flame of knowledge. So if you continue on this journey, you want to be aware that there's one basic equation, that knowledge plus experience and time equals wisdom. So, you should always strive to become wise, but sometimes there's actually no fast track to doing it. And that's something that I remember being fairly impatient when I was younger as well. I always want to do things as quickly as possible, but to become wise, you just have to experience things. And sometimes there's no fast way to do it. So you kind of need to appreciate the journey, the highs and lows, the successes, and of course the failures. And to quote one of my favorite childhood movies, Ferris Bueller's Day Off, life moves pretty fast, and if you don't stop to look up once in a while, you could miss it. And I can just say that I literally blinked and my 30s were gone. And mashallah, you'll find that time accelerates as you get older and the more challenging things that become for you. So I would encourage you to stay curious and kind of enjoy the journey. Next piece of advice I'd like to give is to also embrace challenges. I'd argue that challenges and failures you're going to face in your life are among your best teachers. So don't shy away from taking calculated risks. Life's greatest rewards often come from stepping outside of your comfort zone. And historically, I've always tried to put myself in situations where I often find myself saying, I'm way in over my head and I have no idea what I'm doing. And as time progressed, I kind of realized that feeling really emerged every single time I ventured outside of my comfort zone. So what you'll find is in these moments of uncertainty and challenge, that's where you experience the most amount of growth in your life. So don't be afraid to fail, embrace it, learn from it, and actually try to propel yourself forward, inshallah. So kind of I'm going to try to wrap it up here with a fourth point. And this is one that, you heard Azrai talk a little bit about earlier as well, and something you'll hear as a recurring theme, which is the importance of paying it forward. So, this is something that holds dear to me because a lot of the times people tend to do something because they expect something in return from it. And I think Islamically speaking, we want to try to give, and this is why Sadaqah is so important for us, is because you want to give something for the purposes of giving it to, inshallah, help others and ask for nothing back in return, at least not in this lifetime, inshallah, in the hereafter. So the scholarship is really not a financial contribution, in my opinion. This is an act of sadaqah. And I think all of us donors would probably agree that that's the reasons why we do it. And of course, if we can try to help impact the community and make things easier for others that come after us, that's really what we're all trying to do here. And, as you climb the ladder of success, you always need to remember that, you always want to extend a hand to those that are coming behind you. So whether it's through mentorship or sharing your knowledge, or even creating opportunities, which is another really big thing. Like Azra talked about Max Mentors. That's such a huge thing. It really didn't exist when I was earlier on in my career, and I wish it did. And we had to kind of navigate, a lot of us who've come from before had to navigate our own ways to figure that out. And now, mashallah, there's a network of our community that can help you in almost every field you can imagine, which is just so amazing to see. So in closing, I really just kind of wanted to express my heartfelt gratitude really to the Max team for creating a platform like this that we can actually help contribute and give back, because it's really you guys that are most important, because you're the future for all of us. So Jazakallah for the opportunity. I'm happy to answer any questions if there are any, and inshallah, I look forward to coming back again next year. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you so much, Raz. This was very, very insightful. Just to reiterate some of the points that you mentioned about how we should all be curious and enjoy the journey and be open to challenges. I think that's something that everyone should remind themselves as they move forward in their life. It's very insightful. We have also allocated some time for a short question and answer period. So if anyone in the audience have any question or would like to touch a bit more on a specific part that Shiraz talked about, please feel free to add your questions to the chat or raise your hand. In the meantime, I can start with a question you mentioned about the importance of support system, but if a student is kind of like struggling with, they necessarily don't have a strong support system in their immediate circle, how can they kind of go out and touch with people and network? Do you have any advice for them?
So that's a great question. And I would say absolutely there are a few things you can do. So number one, if you're in this room, then alhamdulillah, you've done well. So reach out to your scholarship donor, for example. That's a good starting point. Otherwise, there's also the volunteers at Max. They're such an amazing resource because mashallah, they're volunteers, but almost every one of them is extremely accomplished in whatever field that they're in. So this is why I was talking about why Max is such an important platform and a network, just because there's so many people here that you can actually tap into to see, oh, so and so is working in this field, or so and so has access to this. Mashallah, it's all in one spot. And that's the most amazing part about Max and why I'm such a believer in the organization as a whole. So that's one of the things that you can do. So if you don't feel that you have a strong personal support network, well, reach out to your brothers and sisters within the community. And even if barring that, if you're not feeling comfortable to do that, even on a more local level, even your own masjid, your own local community, your own family members, whoever you have there, I'm sure there's somebody who can at least lend an ear. And if not, reach out to me. I'm happy to help.
Definitely. I had a very similar experience. Like every time I reach out to our community, I've always found people very eager to help. So Malaika has a very good question. She's wondering, how did you maintain your faith and personal boundaries as you navigated to corporate ladder and your journey to success?
Mashallah, that's an amazing question. And I have to say that at times it was challenging, right? And I think it's about having steadfast values and having Islam at your core. And it's something that, you go into the business world, especially in finance, they're not necessarily known for being the most wholesome folks in the world, historically speaking. So, maintaining your core values, having a strong deen is, I think, probably the most important thing for me, is knowing my boundaries. And nowadays, I'd actually argue it's easier than it was, even 10, 15, 20 years ago, where you couldn't be openly Muslim. You had to, be quiet about going for praying salah. I remember back in the day, Azerbaijan, we used to go for Jummah prayers, and it was in the basement of a church. Like there's so much facilities that are here now that didn't exist back then. So I'd say it's some ways a little bit easier now to navigate. We're much more accepting. Most companies nowadays have diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives, which will actually be very supportive of the fact that we are different. Some of our needs are different. So if you need space to be able to pray, most companies will actually accommodate that. And if not, you should raise your hand, because there is provisions in there. And especially if your company's federally regulated, there are mandates for them to be able to help you. So I'd say nowadays it's not nearly as hard as it once was to stick true to who you are.
Absolutely, that is so true. I want to be respectful of your time. So the last question we'll take is more towards some of our audience who are interested in finance. They're wondering, what advice would you have for someone who's interested in finance, looking to recruit in the field of investing?
So great question. And I'd say, look, finance is really broad, and there's a lot of different facets and areas within the financial industry, right? So you look at some of the executives at Max, some of them are more on the investment banking side. Others are in research, others are in sales and trading. And myself, I'm in portfolio management and wealth management. So I would say you want to narrow it down a little bit. And if you don't know, don't feel bad about it. That's part of the reason why this network exists, is to start having conversations, being proactive, finding out and learning more about the different facets, because finance is really broad. And once you kind of have an idea of what you like, then you can then figure out which one and what the next appropriate steps would be. And mashallah, there's so many mentors within the financial field within Max. I guarantee you throw a rock and we'll find at least 3 people who will be able to guide you in any one of the different fields, because mashallah, it's so diverse and so vast, and there's people at different levels. If you want to know what it's like at an entry level versus a mid-level versus a senior, because the jobs do change quite a bit, there's lots of people who can guide you. And again, if not, please feel free to reach out. I'm happy to help, inshallah.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Raz. I'm sure a lot of everyone in the audience has taken a lot of valuable stuff from today. So we'll now, I'll hand over to Nahida.
Okay, so before we move on to recognizing our winners for this evening, thank you again, Shiraz. Thank you again, Dr. Al-Abadleh. We really appreciate your time and the insight that you bring to for our students. So the 2023 Quran recitation took place during Ramadan earlier this year, and where we welcomed 165 eligible entries from across Canada. It included 4 categories: primary, elementary, high school, CJEP, and university college. Each category had a specific surah and verses where participants were expected to recite, and we were very fortunate to have a group of judges that assessed the tajweed, accuracy, melody, and enthusiasm of the participants' submissions. 24 finalists were narrowed down and proceeded to the voting round of the competition, in which the community had the opportunity to vote for their favorite recitation in each category. We awarded 3 winners in each category, which included 12 prizes worth $8,000, and these were dedicated to their school's tuition or their Quranic school's tuition. So for the first category, the primary school, our winners were Mumjid Buzo, Safiya Khan, and Muhammad Al-Sari. In the second category, the elementary and middle school category, we had first place for Saleh Ali, second place for Sanjam Maliyat, and third place, People's Choice for Asad Hussain. In our third category, high school CJEP, first place was Sumaya Antar, second place was Asjad Hussain, and People's Choice was Muhammad Patel. And finally, in our last category, first place tied were Hafsa Hassan and Sharyar Durrani, and People's Choice was Farhan Jogyat. And apologies for mispronouncing any of these names. I'll move on to and hand it over to Syed.
Now we would like us to take a moment and recognize all of the high school students that won a scholarship this year. We wish this was in person so that we can see you all walk across the stage. But for now, this wonderful slideshow that our marketing team created should do the trick. Congratulations again to all of you. Naila Nasser, winner of Dr. Ike Ahmed University Entrance Scholarship. Ahmed Abdul Ghani, winner of Aspiring Social Impact Leader Scholarship. Dua Atif, winner of Habib Khan Memorial Scholarship. Safia Makada, winner of Walid and Dina Suleiman All-Star Scholarship. Sarah Tahrir, winner of Yamna Afzal Memorial Max All-Star. Shaista Afreed Muhammad, winner of General All-Star Scholarship. Abdullah Muhammad Saleh Sabul, winner of Muhammad Khalilullah and Wahida Begum Scholarship. Areen Khan, winner of Asma and Parvez Akhtar All-Star Scholarship. Kenzi Surur, winner of Hassan Ali and Roshan Banu Sachidena Scholarship. Zainab Al-Ramahi, Mahdi and Rashida Ansar Scholarship for Science and Engineering. Muhammad Saim, winner of Yahya and Fatma Ansar Scholarship. Rumaisa Khan, winner of Muhammad Foundation Scholarship for Outstanding Achievement. Manahil Saeed, winner of Muhammad Foundation Scholarship for Outstanding Achievement. Omalkar Said, winner of Hudhud Scholarship for Somali Canadian Youth. Faiza Malik, winner of Firmly and Mansouri Family Award for Afghan Canadian Youth. Yamina Zahid, winner of Walid and Dina Suleiman All-Star Scholarship for Learning Disabilities. Rami Namna, winner of Bridge DO Scholar Community Scholarship. Rishad Wahidi, winner of Bridge DO Scholar Community Scholarship. Aya Al-Khaldi, winner of MSF Refugees to Canada Scholarship. Zainab Khan, winner of Mariam Memorial Scholarship for Newcomers. Ra Yasir Muhammad, winner of Root to Roots Scholarship. And finally, Abdu Bora, winner of Toronto Hifz Academy Scholarship for Hufaz.
For our next segment, before we move on to the post-secondary congratulations, we'll be having a few select winners, students from the high school category, take the stage and share a few inspiring words with us all. First up, we're pleased to have Naila Nasser, winner of the Dr. Ike Ahmed University Entrance Scholarship, to share her journey. Naila believes it is her Muslim identity that drives her passion to serve humanity. Elected as a student trustee in grade 11, she has been an active member of student politics at both a board and provincial level, amplifying the voices of marginalized students. Through her over 1,400 volunteer hours, Naila has tutored disadvantaged children, served her Muslim community through interfaith events, and founded the Canadian chapter of a nonprofit serving seniors. Nyla will be attending Harvard University in the fall and is planning to concentrate in the biological sciences. Aiming to become an OBGYN, Nyla is hoping to support all females, especially those in marginalized communities or with limited access to medical care, to have equitable access to knowledge about their health. Due to cultural taboos and stigmas that are present in many Muslim communities, Nyla hopes to educate Muslim women and ensure they feel empowered about their health. Nyla, I'm going to hand over the stage to you, and I believe you're coming to us from Boston, if I'm not mistaken.
Cambridge, but yeah.
Cambridge, sorry.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay. All right. Assalamu alaikum. My name is Nyla Nasser, and I'm the winner of the Dr. Ike Ahmed University Entrance Scholarship. I am so grateful for this opportunity to speak to all of you, and I hope I can make your time listening worthwhile. So, a little background about myself. I grew up in a suburb called Barrie, which is about an hour north of Toronto, and am the eldest of 3 daughters. I am currently a first-year undergraduate student at Harvard. Now, if I could give you one piece of advice on how I have gotten here, on my very limited worldview and experience as a 17-year-old, it would be to never stop dreaming. Like most kids, I grew up wanting to change the world. And when you're young, adults love that that is your aspiration. But somewhere along the line, that joy turns into pity. And people start judging you for thinking that you, as a single random person, has the ability to change the world. However, I never stopped dreaming. In fact, even when I decided to apply to Harvard, my parents were skeptical. Not because they did not love me or believe in me, but because, like most immigrant parents, they wanted to shield me from rejection and keep me close to home. But once they realized how important it was to me, they supported me wholeheartedly. And here I am now, calling from my currently barren dorm, which will hopefully be decorated in the near future. Now, I have not yet changed the world, not even come close, but I hope to have set an example to others to never stop chasing your dreams and setting high goals for yourself. We all have the ability to be change makers if we believe. I am now in the privileged position of being at a place where things happen and people make a difference. I hope to someday positively impact people on a global scale, and particularly help women in marginalized communities gain access to healthcare. I want to, inshallah, become an OBGYN in the future, as well as advocate for health policy, because I think it is so vital to combat the stigmas and taboos surrounding female health in marginalized communities and ensure equitable access to and treatment to healthcare for everyone. Outside of school, I love volunteering because it is so rewarding. You really see the impact you are making, and it makes me feel closer to Allah. Winning this scholarship makes me feel that all of my efforts to better the lives of others, including through volunteering, have been acknowledged and appreciated, which is amazing. But the more rewarding thing about volunteering is not that I was expecting a scholarship at the end of it, but that I participated and engaged in activities that I was passionate about. And I think that is a principle everyone should live their lives by. If something brings you joy, no matter how ridiculous it is, as long as it does not harm anyone, take some time to do it. Now, I have one last piece of advice for all Muslim youth listening. It can be easy to feel as if you do not fit in or do not have something to contribute. But know that your voice and perspective is needed and valued. So do not shy away from voicing your truth or going after what you believe is right, because that is what it takes to be a change maker. I hope this speech was worth your time. Jazakallah.
Thank you, Nyla. That was great. I think next up, navigating multiple screens right now. Thanks so much, Nyla, for sharing those words, and congratulations on getting into Harvard. And I think, as Malaika said in the chat, your dorm will be decorated soon enough. Just give it some time. Next up, we have Yamina Zahid to give us a few words. She is the recipient of the Waleed and Dina Suleiman All-Star Scholarship for Learning Disabilities. Yamina is a Pakistani-Canadian woman who will be pursuing her bachelor's in applied sciences at McMaster University in the coming year. She's worked extensively towards bridging the gaps between accessible medical care and a socially conscious approach to providing support, especially for immigrant communities. Yamina is particularly passionate about women's reproductive health, tackling the stigmas that often leave patients feeling unseen in the face of cultural taboos. In her free time, she also creates her own adaptive tools to manage reduced mobility, making art therapy and creative outlets more accessible. She's been a lead member of her school's first robotic team, art club, theater tech team, and the head of her school's prefects, an organization that gives back to local NGOs in the community through student engagement. She hopes to further expand her impact, both local and global, through advocacy and volunteering during her undergrad degree. Yamina, the stage is yours.
All right, assalamu alaikum. As you may be able to tell, I'm currently in my residence at McMaster University. And I'd just like to say, before I even begin, Nyla, it's so incredible seeing another woman who is so passionate about female health, because these are topics that do not get spoken about enough. I had the incredible honor of being selected for the Waleed and Dina Suleiman All-Star Scholarship for Learning with Limitations. I'm currently attending McMaster University, as you can see, as part of the Social Science Gateway program, and I'm hoping to pursue my Bachelor's of Applied Science in Human Behavior and Early Childhood Development. My first few weeks on campus have been incredible, making friends with the local Women's Health Society, the Muslim Sisters Social Club, and within my classes. It's the beginning of an entirely new segment of my life, and one that will, inshallah, open up so many doors for my future. Entering university is no doubt a daunting task, and navigating this new environment with additional challenges can be a whirlwind of worries and new experiences alike. I have Tourette syndrome, which is a neurological condition that affects the nervous system and causes uncontrolled muscle spasms within the body. Living with such a disorder has been far from an easy past few years, and the rise and fall of my symptoms interfered with academics, extracurriculars, and everyday routine. Being someone with a unique circumstance like this influencing my life and continuing to play a role in my post-secondary education meant that having support around me is all the more important. It made me passionate about ensuring and improving the medical system that I've navigated so often as a disabled individual. I've lived through this very system. I navigate it every day. I'm not an outside viewer to a lot of the issues that it's so easy to speak on without actually having experienced them. And knowing that I've got a community to lean on, and that there's a vast network of similarly backgrounded people who are passionate about the expansion and education of Muslim youth in Canada is such a motivator as I continue my journey in post-secondary education. And of course, this kind of structure is a two-way street. This year, I'll be volunteering with many of the organizations that played such a strong role in my extracurriculars in the past, including women's health organizations, First Robotics Canada, female empowerment mentorship programs, and of course, the Bridge to Youth organization. Receiving a scholarship from Max, which so strongly aligns with the core values I want to see reflected in my work, is reassurance that as a collective, we're able to work towards inspiring change and supporting students across the country. As someone who is Muslim, who is part of the disabled population, and who comes from a Pakistani background, representing people like me in the workplace and post-secondary education is so important, because not only can we do incredible things, we continue to every single day. Our voices are critical for developing the framework and research that accurately reflects a plethora of lived experiences, and being able to approach issues with a tact and consciousness that ensures a safe, considerate environment for everyone around us and works to improve the systems and institutions we interact with is so important in making a difference in our community. Every action we take holds a power that cannot be underestimated, whether it's within your chosen area of work, through the volunteering time you give back to your community, or simply through your day-to-day lives as you interact with friends, family, and strangers. Whether your personal limitations are physical, financial, emotional, or social, every word spoken and every step taken in spite of them is a testament to your strength and the support of the community behind you. Throughout high school and now as I enter post-secondary education, I found that the most important message to live by is a willingness to speak up and represent your background, your identity, and who you are, to continue to take up space, to continue to exist, and to continue to freely talk in support of your identity and the causes in which you believe. Find power in your presence, whether that's within your workplace, your community, or your family. Be driven by the need to continue to improve the world for the next generation after us. Thank you again to Max Scholars, Dina and Walid Solomon, and all of the incredible interviewers and staff members I interacted with. Together, we can do great things and we can create incredible change. And inshallah, we shall. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Yamina. That was such a nice message, and all the best to both you and Naila as you take the next step in your academic journey. Now, moving on, as scholarship winners, some of you will have the privilege of mentoring some of our Bridge TO youth. Bridge TO Youth is a not-for-profit organization that supports youth and underserved and underrepresented communities in the GTA. With the help of amazing partners and volunteers, they have been able to support over 300 youth with a comprehensive program of tutoring, mentorship, career readiness events, and financial aid. Many of our scholarship winners have mentored Bridge TO youth and have highlighted how enriching and grateful they are for the opportunity. A short video followed to show the impact you play as a mentor on Bridge TO youth.
A challenge I overcame with Bridge TO was deciding my career path. All the way up until the end of grade 11, I really wanted to go into nursing because honestly, that's all I knew. And with Bridge TO, they helped me unlock my true potential and unlock what I really wanted to do.
I really learned a lot from my Bridge TO mentor, and I'm very grateful to them and for Bridge TO for introducing me to them. One of the main things that I learned from them is that life is very flexible, and I feel like my Bridge TO mentor, by teaching me this, really helped ease the burden and ease the anxiety about the future that I often held.
Bridge TO actually really encouraged me to join a co-op program at the University of Waterloo, which is now I have 4 internships alongside my degrees. Without Bridge TO, I honestly don't feel like I could have gotten an opportunity like this. And so with Bridge TO helped really bring a lot of these opportunities to light and helped us see our true potential.
I started the mentoring program at the start of the pandemic. My mentor was someone I would go to for silly things like tips and tricks on entering university classes and getting the best grades, but also she was someone I would talk to about my anxieties about entering university, especially at a time when education was changing so much.
My Bridge TO mentor was amazing. I had Melik, and she was at systems design engineering at Waterloo, and that's what I had planned to do as well. So she really helped me through every step of the process of applying to engineering. I had a lot of anxiety going into a predominantly male field, so I was a little undecided if I should really go for engineering. And she said, just follow your dreams and go for it. And when it came down to applying, I said, you know what, I'm gonna take your advice. And I applied to engineering, and I was lucky to get accepted to some of the top engineering schools in Canada.
I had a wonderful mentor, Hafsa, who is a researcher at U of T, and she was instrumental in my decision to pursue computer science. Hafsa has definitely cultivated my passions in computer science, whether it would be telling me about her research opportunities, what she works on every day, connecting me to people in her network, and just introducing me to new topics in computer science.
All right, so a few of you will have the opportunity to be mentors, and definitely don't underplay the role that you will have in these youths as their support system. Next up on the agenda is we will be recognizing our, we will be recognizing our post-secondary scholarship winners, and the list is a little bit longer than the high school winners, so please bear with me. My voice is probably going to run out, but we'll start with that. And again, as much as we would love to have this in person, this is the second best thing that we can think of to really recognize and showcase our winners. First up, we have Muhammad Jimmy, winner of the Sajda Khatun Memorial All-Star Scholarship, and I must apologize if I mispronounce your name again. We have Shazal Munir, winner of the General All-Star Scholarship. Barat Bashir, winner of the Nusr Ahmed All-Star Scholarship. Javeria Kabir, winner of the Shamoon Ahsan Memorial All-Star Scholarship. Sara Maqsood, winner of the Waqar Hanif Bhatti Law Scholarship. Safa Nulla, winner of the Dr. Shiraz and Aisha Sulaiman Scholarship for Women. Amira Hatia, winner of the Rashida Abdullah Scholarship for Aspiring Women Teachers. Aisha Khan, winner of the Udin and Hassan Scholarship for Women. Samin Ali, winner of the Haider Family All-Star Scholarship. Mariam Niami, winner of the Maimuna Wasi Ahmed Memorial Scholarship. Abdullah Al-Azzawi, winner of the Baraka All-Star Scholarship. Selma Zain, winner of the Kazmi Memorial Scholarship. Halima Ahmed, winner of the Masuma, Halim, and Shahid Sharfuddin Scholarship. Sumaya Mehelli, winner of the Pearson Khan Award for Women's Empowerment. Muzamil bin Yunus, winner of the Ishal and Amani Scholarship for Persons with Disabilities. Rahimin Ahmed, winner of the Muhammad Humayun Zafar Scholarship for Science and Engineering. Tafsia Hussain, winner of the Baliasni Scholarship for Excellence in Science and Engineering. Noura Abdel Razzaq, winner also of another Baliasni Scholarship for Excellence in Science and Engineering. Muhammad Faiz Ansari, winner of the Bultifat Perseverance Scholarship. Omnia Al-Aberi, winner of the Mediha Salman Memorial Scholarship for Science and Engineering. Fahad Iqbal, winner of the Sajad Ibrahim Family Scholarship. My apologies. Baithat Adiyanka, winner also of the Sajad Ibrahim Family Scholarship. Yusra Raham, winner of the Salahuddin and Rehana Malik Science and Engineering Scholarship. Sara Ahmed, winner of the Yusuf Family Scholarship for Science and Engineering. Anwar Abdi, winner of the LodgeX Group Max Scholarship for Science and Engineering. Aya Abulibdeh, winner of the Blue Ridge OMS Women in STEM Scholarship. Adil Haq, winner of the Cars and Chai Toronto Scholarship. Subha Azreen, winner of the Lau Family Scholarship for Science and Engineering. Ali Zaidan, winner of the SSS Owais Scholarship. Naila Sayed, winner of the Sayed and Fatima Warsi Scholarship for Science and Engineering. Maria Maqsood, winner of the Dr. Jawad and Husna Khan Medical Scholarship. Iman Mhiri, winner of the Rukshana Abbas Medical and Dentistry Scholarship for Women. Sadia Mahmood, winner of the Dr. Bushra Qureshi Medicine Dentistry Scholarship. Jawad Al-Qasmi, also winner of the Dr. Bushra Qureshi Medicine Dentistry Scholarship. Hamza Mehdi, winner of the Dr. Muhammad and Mai Munshi Medical and Humanitarian Scholarship. Malaika Khan, winner of the Moez Qassam Finance Scholarship. Insha Huda, winner of the Baliasni Scholarship for Excellence in Business. Zunaira Yaqub, winner of the Dean and Hassan Scholarship for Leadership in Business. Hibo Rijal, winner of the Hudhud Scholarship for Somali Canadian Youth. Ibrahim Urfifi, winner of the MSF Mechanical Engineering Scholarship. Aqsa Zahid, winner of the Bashira Foundation Scholarship. Faris Hussain, winner of the Sur Muhammad Zafrullah Khan Community Leader Scholarship. Sara Rana, winner of the Team Jabbar Realtors to Move You Forward Scholarship. Fatima Rushdi, winner of the Adam Ilyas and Nina Launch Scholarship. Rukshana Ahmadi, winner of the Haq and Najib Family Scholarship, and Hind Al-Abadleh, winner of the Muslim in Media Award. Congratulations to everyone. And for this next segment, I think I turn it over to you, Sayed.
Thank you. For our next segment, we will be having a select few students take the stage and share a few inspiring words with us all. First up, we will be inviting Bara Bashir, winner of the 23 Nasser Ahmad All-Star Scholarship. Bara is a Faris from Libya, a ravaged country in the desert climate of northern Africa. A Faris is an Arabic term used to describe a horseman, but to a Libyan it means much more than that. It is to be a leader whose heart is compelled to support others, and one who remains steadfast in the face of trial and tribulation. Bara completed his first year at the University of Manitoba and has his sights set on continuing his education in the fall. He intends to complete a degree majoring in human genetics in the hopes of pursuing medicine thereafter. It would be difficult to describe himself without first acknowledging his faith. He is a Muslim. Islam has fostered his love of service and stoked the flames of his ambition. Also, that he may be one day inherit a tongue and voice capable of singing the song of triumph. Bara will be speaking to resilience and success and will also be sharing a poem that he wrote for this event. Bara, please open your mic. The stage is yours. Let us know when you need us to share your poem on the screen.
Good. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. My name is Bara Bashir. Milad Ali Bashir al-Fayturi Sgu'i al-Muhtaram. I am a second-year student at the University of Manitoba, and as implied by my introduction, I am a Faris indeed from Libya. I'm present today as a recipient of the Nasser Ahmad All-Star Scholarship, and I'd like to extend a warm thank you to all of the sponsors, not just for my own, but for all the scholarships that are presented today, and for making the proceedings and the gathering for today of leaders for tomorrow possible. It is a wonderful honor and a privilege to offer a message of resilience to you on behalf of the honored scholars of the MAX organization present today. And if I could see the poem that I've written. So this is a poem that I have written during one of my trips back home to my most dear country. So I've designed this for myself. The two there is meant to represent that. It's the second poem that I had written on my trip. So I'll just briefly read through it and kind of give you the brief message behind it as well. So it is called Welcome to the Shade. The lone date palm stands on guard, slumped forward, surveying within its kingly sight. It bears fruits on that lonely mountain, sustained by the rain of tears. When fruit grows ripe and tumbles down narrow cliffs, there are always those below to receive its bounties. The lone date palm stands on guard, bearing the insults of the sun. Its leaves burn and crumble to dust. And yet, against the scourges of drought and violence, the lone palm tree suffers in silence. It receives wounds and scars on its noble back with a soft smile that would never crack, all in the name of sacrifice. Every beneficiary of that tree's shadow feels its loving embrace no matter how far they travel. So long as that date palm stands so proud, it will remember, love, give, and pray, waiting for the passing of a great invasion. So if I could sum up this poem, I could ramble on for days as to its meaning, but it boils down to this idea of resilience. And I think that a quote from the Quran, al-Mahfuz, that reflects kind of the spirit of this poem, that I think to the best of its abilities, is have this quote, لا يكلف الله نفسا إلا وسعها, from Surah Al-Baqarah, which means that Allah does not burden a soul beyond that which it can bear. And so the message behind this is that of sacrifice, it's that of resilience, and it's that of taking the initiative to support not just one's own endeavors in their life, but the endeavors of others as well. I'll proceed forward with a speech that I've also prepared alongside my poem. Very recently, we've seen in the world calamities have struck the countenance of the earth. Our brothers and sisters from Morocco, from my own country, from Libya and the eastern part of Durham, and many other countries around the world are feeling the brunt of climate destruction during recent times. From earthquakes to floods to all kinds of economic and social strains and struggles that will most likely follow thereafter. The world, and interestingly enough, Muslim majority countries in particular, are in pain. The appropriate response to pain is not ignorance, or worse, exacerbation of that pain, though one can see that both of those things can be one and the same, but rather an answer, a treatment, a solution, an action forged under a covenant of effort and fatigue. All of us here today are community leaders, people from diverse backgrounds who share a care for our communities, who are taking the initiative upon themselves, and who have captured this vision. And part of the benefit, I would say, and that I genuinely believe, of joining the MAX organization through the acquisition of scholarships or otherwise, is the unifying of leaders, like-minded leaders across Canada. I believe the role that the MAX organization takes in the lives of students and community leaders is one of barakah, or blessing in Arabic, as it not only encourages and supports the academic ventures of its subjects, but also offers them an opportunity to contribute to not only their own futures, but to the collective future of the ummah at large, if only by a small margin. Wallahu a'lamu bima taf'alun. This is a quotation from the Quran, and indeed Allah is fully aware and is fully cognizant of what you do. And so again, I'd like to emphasize that even if our contributions as a collective are that of a small margin in the grand scheme of things and of creation in general, your account will be held to stand the test of time and bear witness to your intentions before the majesty of Allah, either in this world or the next. As far as my own personal ambitions go, I aspire to be a medical doctor. But let me be very clear about something. That aspiration does not mean languishing in the limbo of dreams. A lot of us wish, but we're not willing to work. And I try to humble myself to the constant pursuit of being in the working camp, not in the wishing camp. And I'm sure everyone else at this reception here today and everyone listening feels and does the exact same. Everyone has a right to champion their goal with a blazing passion, and I will do just that for my own sake. But I truly believe that such an ambition is meaningless if we forget our brothers and sisters in humanity in that pursuit. So that is what I believe it means to be a Muslim, an individual who, of course, submits themselves to the will of God, which unequivocally includes being righteous to our fellow brothers and sisters in humanity, no matter who they are or where they come from. جزاكم الله ألف خير والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله.
Thank you, Vera. That was a very beautiful poem and a very inspiring speech. Let's take a moment right now to take a photo. So if we can ask everyone to please turn on their camera.
Bear with
Awesome.
us as we have to rotate through multiple screens to get everyone. So, Sayed, are you going to be able to do the screen captures and save them?
Yeah, I'm just doing that.
Perfect.
Awesome. Thank you, everyone. We have taken some good snapshots. We'll be sharing that afterwards. Neither you can, if you could share the screen. Perfect. Next up, we are pleased to announce Anwar Abdi, winner of the 23 LogX Group Max Scholarship for Science and Engineering. Anwar is a Doctor of Medicine candidate at the University of Toronto, driven by his unwavering passion for education and healthcare equity. He completed a Bachelor of Health Sciences from McMaster University, where he attained a 4.0 GPA, demonstrating his exceptional academic achievements. Recognizing the importance of empowering marginalized communities, Anwar tirelessly devotes his time to dismantling barriers in education and healthcare. He mentors and tutors marginalized youth through Bridge TO Youth, bridging the gap between high school and university. Anwar also advocates for underrepresented youth in STEM fields through his contributions to Visions of Science. His commitment extends to empowering the future generation of Somali youth as a program facilitator with Say Somali. Anwar's dedication doesn't end with community engagement. He actively engages in research, fostering innovation and progress in the field. Looking ahead, Anwar aspires to continue his advocacy work as a medical student and future physician. Drawing from his own lived experience, he aims to provide culturally competent and sensitive care to individuals from all walks of life. Anwar, the stage is yours.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, everyone. Thank you so much for having me here today. My name is Anwar Abdi, and I'm absolutely thrilled to be able to talk to you all. I want to start off by giving a huge thank you to Max as an organization, and a special thank you to Awais and Javeri Ashfaq for sponsoring the scholarship that I won this year, the Log X Group Scholarship for Science and Engineering. Your support has been a game changer for me. It's not just about the financial relief, it's about the belief in my potential and the encouragement to succeed in STEM. It's hard to believe that just 3 years ago, I was addressing the scholarship winners of 2020 after receiving the Walid and Dina Suleiman High School All-Star Scholarship. However, back then, I was an eager high school student starting out my undergraduate journey, not unlike some of you here today, dreaming of a future in medicine. Little did I know how pivotal the scholarship would be in shaping my path. Fast forward to today, I'm overjoyed to be a first-year medical student at the University of Toronto. It's been quite the ride from dreaming of being a medical student to actually being one. These past 3 years have been a whirlwind of growth and learning. One of the most profound lessons I've learned is the power of community. It's not just about overcoming personal challenges, it's about being part of something greater than yourself. In 2020, Max introduced me to Bridge Shield Youth, a nonprofit organization that's all about creating opportunities for underserved students. The cause was near to me, as I myself grew up in a marginalized community in the inner city of Toronto. I wanted to do my part to alleviate the barriers the next generation faced with support that, quite frankly, I didn't have growing up and the people around me. Working with Bridge Geo from tutor to tutor lead to program coordinator has shown me the incredible impact that a community can have. Together, we've taken meaningful steps to leveling the playing field by providing educational opportunities that weren't being provided in communities that needed them. It's been inspiring to see how collectively we can make a real difference in the lives of aspiring students. And that's the message I want everyone to take here today. The power of community and collective effort. It's not just about the hurdles that I've personally faced as a minority in STEM. It's about how together we could break down the barriers and champion diversity. My experiences with other nonprofit organizations such as Say Somali and Visions of Science have further strengthened this belief. They have opened my eyes to the incredible things that can be done when people come together for a common goal. As a medical student and future physician, I'm excited to carry this sense of community forward. I hope to translate my experience and passion for breaking down educational barriers to help underserved students pursue medicine. I believe in patient-centered care, and having a diverse physician population is in being a critical step in building an equitable healthcare system. So as we come here today to celebrate all the achievements, let's remember to first and foremost say Alhamdulillah for the things that we've been able to accomplish. But let's also harness the power of community to break down barriers and motivate future Max scholarship winners and future Muslims pursuing education. As we move forward, let's keep striving for excellence. And through our actions, let's become the change that we want to see in this world. Thanks again to Max for your unwavering dedication, and congratulations once more to the scholarship winners of 2023.
Thank you, Anwar, for sharing such an incredible message. Next on, our graduate student winner in the 2023 Science and Engineering category came together to create a video. The video, which we will play in a minute, showcases what they're doing with their degrees and the importance of research and pursuit of science and engineering in Islam.
Welcome to a journey where science and teachings of Islam intertwine to empower patients and communities. Join us in exploring the scientific advancements in the work of the 2023 Science and Engineering Max Scholarship winners.
As the 2023 Science and Engineering Max Scholarship winners, we would like to express sincere gratitude to our sponsors who support our research and pursuit of science and engineering.
So, what motivates us? This image taken by NASA shows a dwarf galaxy that is 16 million light years away. This is just one piece of the vast universe that Allah has created. As our world stands on the cusp of an undefined future, we have the unique ability to contribute to both understanding Allah's world and to utilize our skills for our communities. Our goal as engineers and scientists is to pursue knowledge for the sake of Allah, to benefit others and ourselves positively. And for the next couple of minutes, we will talk about what kind of a future each of us is aspiring to create. I'm Rahimeen, and as a structural engineer, I'm developing a framework that can be used to assess the risk to our structures and our communities from future disasters. This will help in pre-disaster preparedness and post-disaster response and recovery. I'd like to thank Azhar Zafar for supporting this work through the Muhammad Humayun Zafar Scholarship for Science and Engineering.
I'm Tafsia, and I'm investigating a potential blood biomarker that would be able to predict post-op complications after an organ transplant, in hopes to reduce invasive tests like biopsies. Thank you to the Bali Asni Asset Management team for sponsoring the scholarship and supporting my research.
I'm Omni Al-Ibyari. My work focuses on identifying early biomarkers in the oral cavity that could predict the risk of complications in bone marrow transplant recipients. Thank you so much to Awais and Jabira Ashfaq and Haroon Mir for sponsoring the Madi Hassan Memorial Scholarship for Science and Engineering.
I'm Fahad Iqbal, and I am engineering a lab-on-a-chip system that will allow us to rapidly screen multiple different anti-epileptic drugs and their combinations to see which ones are the most effective in treating certain types of epilepsies. This will hopefully help us move towards personalized epilepsy medications. Thank you, Mr. Sajjad Ibrahim and your family for sponsoring this work.
My name is Yusra, and I combine knowledge in porous media physics and interfacial science to fundamentally understand the transport behaviors of nanoparticles in porous media. The goal is to assess the fate of nanoplastic pollutants in groundwater aquifers and the risks they pose to human health and marine life. I would like to warmly thank my sponsor Nadia Malik for her support through the Salahuddin and Raihana Malik Science and Engineering Scholarship.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Aya Al-Abadleh, and I'm a Master of Applied Science Electrical Engineering student at the University of Windsor and a research assistant at the Electrical Micro and Nano Devices and Sensors Research Lab. I'm currently designing a transistor-based sensor for early disease detection. I want to sincerely thank Doha and Osama Sulaiman for sponsoring this scholarship and supporting my education. Jazakumullah khairan.
I'm Sara Ahmed, and I wanted to thank my sponsor, Danish Yusuf, for providing support through the Yusuf Family Scholarship for Science and Engineering. And my work currently focuses on designing nanoparticles to increase delivery of chemotherapy to tumors, with the goal of reducing side effects and also increasing the amount of drug that reaches the tumor. This view from space, taken by a Muslim astronaut, shows Baghdad, the city which was home to Bayt al-Hikmah, the House of Wisdom, which was an intellectual center for Muslims in the world. Each of us in our work from environment to biology has the potential to generate our very own Bayt al-Hikmah, through which we can see Muslims leading at the cutting edge of innovation. Through our work, we hope to have a sustainable impact on our personal lives and the environments we live in. Thank you to the Max Scholarship Fund for your invaluable support.
Great to see so many amazing research projects going on. Next, we're pleased to announce one of our medicine and dentistry winner to come to the virtual stage and give a few remarks. Our next speaker is the winner of the 2023 Rukhsana Abbas Medical Dentistry Scholarship for Women, a new scholarship this year. Iman Mahiri is a student of medicine at the Schulich School of Medicine and Dentistry at the University of Western Ontario. Prior, Iman served for 4 years as a clinical researcher at the Bone Research and Education Center, a McMaster University research site. She also served as the executive director for Canadians in Support of Refugees in Dire Need, a not-for-profit organization dedicated to advocating for victims of genocide. Iman graduated with a BSc in Biomedical Sciences from the University of Waterloo, as well as an MSc, during which she was awarded the AHS Senate Scholarship for having the top grades in her department. Iman's thesis explored a novel pathway that could elucidate the relationship between chronic kidney disease and new-onset diabetes. Iman has co-authored 10-plus publications and 2 medical textbook chapters. She also served as a junior member of 2 international task forces on parathyroid disease and hypophosphatasia. Sorry if I misspelled that. Iman, the stage is yours.
Can everybody hear me? Yeah?
Yes, we can.
All right. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I just wanted to quickly say how impressed I am with all of the youth that have presented today. I'm just blown away, and jazakallahu khairan for Max for highlighting all of these youth, because it's such an inspiration to see what our community youth are doing, mashallah. So I just wanted to quickly shout out to all my fellow youth out there. So Assalamu alaikum, my name is Iman Mahiri. I am a second-year medical student at the Schulich School of Medicine and Dentistry at the University of Western Ontario in London. I'm also the 2023 recipient of the Rukhsana Abbas Medical and Dentistry Scholarship for Women. So my journey to medicine was a very long one, and I would like to share some of my story and the important lessons that I've learned along the way. I have wanted to be a doctor since I was 5 years old. I got injured at that age and spent some time at Sick Kids Hospital in Toronto, and to me it was like Disneyland. It was amazing. And I found it to be the most incredible place. I also appreciated how the doctors helped me get better, and I aspired to be like them one day. So I set forth on a long academic journey towards a career in medicine. I spent my entire youth planning my career. I aspired to be like Brother Anwar Abdi. I wanted to apply during my 3rd year of undergrad, get into medical school, and become a practicing physician before I turned 30. But alas, that did not happen. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the best of planners, and he had a different journey in mind for me. I ended up applying to medical school 7 times before I was finally accepted. During those 7 years, I did not remain stagnant. I sought every opportunity to develop myself as a better future physician and community leader. I completed my undergraduate and master's degree at the University of Waterloo. I did clinical research. I worked in my community, and through my community work, ended up meeting my husband and got married. And I started a career in clinical research, as I had mentioned. So similar to what Brother Barak Bashir had brought up, you know, when you have an aspiration, it's not just about dreaming, it's about putting in the work. And I really love that, Brother Barak, so shout out to you. So subhanAllah, I kept looking for opportunities and I kept developing myself. But every year in September, I buckled down and I prepared my application. I wrote the MCAT 3 times. I prepared new essays for my application every single year, no matter if I was in school or if I was working. I wrote the CASPER exam annually. And every year I sought advice from experts and peers and mentors who gave me feedback on my application and how I could improve. So I always looked for feedback, any way that I could become better. I was always receptive to that, so that's important. And then finally, during my 6th cycle of applying, I got an interview to Queen's University, and I passed both rounds of their interview process and then was placed on a waiting list. But subhanAllah, that was not my nasib, and I did not come off the waiting list. So I decided my 7th application was going to be my last. I had reached a point, alhamdulillah, where I was content with how much effort and tawakkul I had put into this journey. And it was at this point of acceptance that was a turning point. And alhamdulillah, my 7th application was my last. And I was accepted at the University of Western Ontario in London to study medicine. So I share my story in the hopes of inspiring future aspiring medical professionals. And from this evening, I hear there are quite a few, alhamdulillah. The process to medical school and medical school itself in Canada can be very daunting and exhausting. However, if this is your true passion, then please persevere. Our community, especially our aging Muslim population, needs Muslim representation in healthcare. And honestly, because of this long journey, I am so grateful to be here. Every day I wake up excited to learn, and I am honored to be serving my community as a future healthcare provider. Once again, I'd like to thank Max for giving our Muslim youth the opportunity to persevere and reach their goals by providing financial support and mentorship to our youth, and for highlighting what incredible work our youth have been doing, mashallah. And I would also like to thank Brother Farhan Abbas, who's the sponsor of my scholarship, for recognizing the importance of championing women in healthcare. And with that, I'd like to say Jazakallahu khairan.
Sorry for the
Saeed, you're on mute.
Oh, sorry, didn't realize that. So I was just saying thank you, Iman, for sharing such an encouraging story. Our final video of the evening was prepared by medicine scholarship winners. In the video, they talk about the challenges of med school and the ayah that really resonates for them and grounds them in overcoming challenges and pursuing excellence. Before I start the video, I would like to make a request. If I can ask winners and sponsors to please change their Zoom name to make sure they have both their first and last name, and to include either the word winner or sponsor at the end, depending if you're a winner or sponsor. This will help us in creating the breakout rooms after the event.
The long path to medical school is one full of tremendous uncertainty and recurrent obstacles. A verse that has been critical in allowing me to navigate these experiences has been Ayah 28 from Surah Ar-Riyad, which reads, "Truly, in the remembrance of Allah do hearts find rest." This verse has one that has given me profound reassurance and comfort no matter what sort of anxiety or grief I might be experiencing. Importantly, it reminds me not to fixate on how big my promise might be, but rather to find peace in recognizing how great my Rabb truly is. This ayah encourages us to turn back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala frequently, especially during times of hardship, whether it's through earnest dua following the Tahajjud prayer or engaging in zikr throughout our day. I also find it to be closely tied to the concept of tawakkul, in terms of fully placing my trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and submitting to His plan for me. Overall, I feel blessed to have our faith, which gives us a framework to deal with any sort of hardship that might come our way. A huge heartfelt thank you to Mr. Saud Qureshi and Dr. Faisal Qureshi for providing this scholarship, and to the entire Max Scholarship Fund for bringing together the Muslim community across Canada for this amazing cause.
My journey towards being a medical student who's interested in robotics and AI has been filled with challenges, faith, and hope. One verse from the Quran that has been a guiding light for me is Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. وَإِذَا سَأَلَكَ عِبَادِي عَنِّي فَإِنِّي قَرِيبٌ. When my servants ask you concerning me, indeed I am near. So this profound verse has taught me that no matter the circumstances, Allah is always near me. No matter the darkest moments, the struggles in the pursuit of education and escaping the war from Syria, it's always been a constant reminder that Allah hears and responds to my calls. So I would like to again thank Dr. Muhammad Al-May Munshi and Max for being a guiding light to the community.
The ayah that I think really resonated with me in my journey to medical school is ayah 153 of Surah Baqarah, where Allah says, "O you who believe, seek help through patience and prayer. Surely Allah is with those who are patient." Allah is addressing the believers and telling us that when we're in need of help, the best way that we can go through this challenge that requires His help is through patience and prayer. And so we have a formula to fall back on every time we need it, no matter what the challenge is that we're facing. With that being said, I'd also like to thank Dr. Wajid Khan for sponsoring this scholarship, and also the entire Max Scholarship Fund for allowing this to happen.
If I can share with you one verse that helped me a lot in the past few years, it would be in the Surah Al-Najm, when لَيْسَ لِلْإِنسَانِ إِلَّا مَا سَعَى. It's the concept of striving, and that we will only get what we strive for. It's also the concept of hard work for me, doing your best, genuine hard work, regardless of the results. So it's showing up early, leaving late, doing things that you don't want to do just for the sake of reaching where you want to reach. And so that kept me in the mentality of always doing your best. And I would definitely advise the younger generation and even everyone here to keep that mentality in so that we can truly show people what we believe in as Muslims. And finally, I want to thank Mr. Saud and Dr. Faisal Qureshi for the scholarship, and I also want to thank Max for everything they've done for us.
The ayah that comes to mind when I think about my journey to medicine is ayah 6 from Surah Al-Sharh, Inna ma'al usri yusra, verily with hardship comes ease. Now, this ayah is important to me because it has taught me 3 important things. The first, that whenever you face hardship, turn to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He will ease your heart. The second, that obstacles are actually a gift from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, an opportunity to develop, become stronger and more resilient for the other obstacles that are going to come your way. And finally, that life is cyclical. There's going to be times of hardship and times of ease. As long as we put our trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, everything's going to be okay. I'd like to say a special thanks to Max for this opportunity, as well as Brother Farhan Abbas, the sponsor of this scholarship. Jazakallahu khairan.
All right, we are nearing the end of the evening. Sorry, I just need to... There's just a few more slides, and I recognize we are past the 8 o'clock mark, but please, winners and sponsors, if you could stay behind, this would allow us to get you into your rooms. But just a few things before we end the evening. We're really, first of all, thank you to all the speakers this evening. We're really humbled and incredibly honored to have you share your experiences and be vulnerable in front of us. And as we near the end of the reception, we wanted to highlight a few next steps for the students. After that, we're going to open the breakout rooms for our sponsors and students to meet with one another. So again, as a reminder, if you haven't done so already, please add winner or sponsor respectively to your name to help us assign the breakout rooms, which Saeed is doing in the background. The most immediate next step is for you to meet your sponsors, and we really encourage you. The first time you'll meet them is hopefully today if they're present. Otherwise, we do encourage you to reach out and set up these meetings. You've all shared your details with the MSF team, and if you haven't already done so, especially your SIN number, your tuition information, these details are all important for us to pay your tuition. If we haven't reached out to you, that means we have your information, so don't worry. Then, for what you're probably all waiting for, is that your school tuition will be paid off for your semester 2, whatever your scholarship amount is. And you'll wrap up your time with Max and MSF by giving back to the community and volunteering with Max and or Bridge TO. And this is just a reminder, this is a requirement for your scholarship that you do give back 50 hours of community service. You would have already received an email asking you to fill out the volunteer and mentorship forms. Now, if you're not living in Canada for your undergrad degree, we completely understand, but you can always give back to Max and MSF in person or when you come back to Canada, just like some of the volunteers have done, if you feel like you're not able to give fully in the next year. Lastly, we ask that you continue to spread the word about Max and MSF so that others can be awarded for their accomplishments just like yourself. What we do in MSF could not have been possible without the volunteers, the sponsors, and the students such as yourself, especially our volunteers who we recruit for marking, for interviewing, for practically everything that we do at MSF, it is volunteer-based. So may our efforts bring good into the lives of others, and may God be pleased with our intentions and actions, and we really want to thank all of you for being part of the journey and for supporting us as we move forward. Please stay connected with Max and MSF. You can find Max on most social media platforms. You can find MSF on some of the social media platforms. There is a generic email address there. There is also the website. And for Max, it's onemax.org. So you can sign up for our newsletter there to make sure that you're keeping in tune with everything that's happening with Max and MSF. And finally, just another congratulations to all of you for achieving this remarkable achievement and for coming this far on your academic journeys.